Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Devil May Cry video. In today's video, we have some really interesting things going on with Gunslinger Dante and the Medea boss fight in the co-op raids. So just to let you guys know, I've been thoroughly testing with Gunslinger. I am working on a review video that should be coming out really soon. I just didn't want to jump to a review video too quickly before I had a chance to thoroughly play with the character, kind of figure him out, and also get other people in the community's input on him so I can get you guys as accurate information and as fair as thoughts as possible. But with that being said, I just wanted to make this video because I found some really interesting stuff happening in this boss fight in particular. And it's kind of more so funny than anything because it's ridiculous. But at the same time, just as a disclaimer, I don't want you guys thinking this is normal because it's not. It's definitely a bug. It's definitely unintended, but it's just kind of crazy. So I'm just going to let this play through and let you guys see for yourselves. And then we'll go back and I'll kind of explain what's happening. I have two video clips to show. One's with the bug, one's without, so you can kind of see a comparison. But yeah, I'm going to just let this play through. So as you guys know, Medea has her first phase at 80 HP bars. And then after a certain amount of HP, she's going to try and turn one of the hunters on the team against the whole team. I think she usually picks whoever's doing the most damage on the team gets turned. So you can see here, after the nuke, I think around 60 bars is when she tries to turn somebody. And then you have to break that crystal to break whoever got turned out of it. But you can see with Gunslinger, well, yeah, we'll go back here. But look how fast he's just absolutely melting these mini bosses. Mind you, my Gunslinger at the time of this recording is triple S plus rank with a 1-star exclusive weapon. The first time I encountered this bug, I believe I was actually at SS rank with him with a 0-star exclusive, and I think the bug caused him to do like a 36 million damage nuke. Right, so you can see how absurd that was. He single-handedly killed 3 of the mini-bosses and almost a 4th. And just absolutely destroyed the boss. So I'm just going to go back here and explain what is happening. So after thorough testing, I realized it has to do with when Medea tries to turn a hunter against the team. So I'm pretty sure it's the hunter who's doing the most damage in the team that gets turned. And it usually happens somewhere around her 70 to 60 HP mark. So you can see after my first nuke, I drop her down to about 60. And then I go into my rocket spam, my homing rocket spam to build my MP back up real quick. And then I go into another nuke. Now during this time is when she's trying to turn me onto her side. But because I have the buff, I think this is the buff. I think this is the buff right up here. You get a buff. Basically, when you get turned against your team, the game has to buff you. So then, I don't know. They buff you so you can compete or actually do damage to your teammates. I'm not really sure the rhyme or reason, but anyways, you get this buff. I think it's this one right here. But the thing is with Gunslinger, when you go into this second nuke, now that you have the buff and you're not fully attacking your own team yet, Medea gets hit with the nuke, and you can see it goes from 59 to 30 almost instantly. So somewhere, somehow, we've broke the game. We have the buff from being turned against our own team, but we've basically skipped the phase of actually being against our own team. So now you can see on Gunslinger that there's a red aura kind of around him. That's when you know that whatever this bug is working, because you still have the buff applied, but you're not actually under control. You're in full control of your character. So, and that's what allows you to go and do like this absurd damage right here, like just teleporting and then going into your shotgun blast. That's 220k per shotgun blast is crazy, and you're basically able to just melt everything. I could have probably done a couple of these faster. I just jumped a bit too high and I was a bit out of range. But yeah, you could see. And then, you know, if you're ranking up your GS2, you get crit damage increases with shotgun shots. So you're just amping up your damage when you do the shotgun blast here. And you just output some stupid numbers. But yeah, Medea seems to give you this buff, and it makes things absolutely absurd for this boss fight. It's crazy. Yeah, so you can see at the end, it's like 52, or what is that? Yeah, 52 million. Okay, so with that being said, now that you guys kind of understand how the bug works, and kind of what it does, here is, so I recorded another clip of the same kind of gameplay, but this time I purposely underperformed with GS to make sure that I didn't become her chosen one. And you can see the stark difference between the buff. Definitely don't do as much damage. I'll just speed it up a little bit here. So once we get to the 30 mark, you could see that I don't have the buff no more. And yeah, I was right. So it is that little red sword icon that's in your buff. But, you know, the next time I run it, I'm going to try to click on it to see if it gives me any details on what the buff actually gives me. But, yeah, so you can see going into Parcel Hopper again, just to do a comparison, and it's way different, way different. So compared to doing like 200, 400k per shotgun shot, I'm only doing like 20 to 30k now, or like 15 to 40, 50. Big difference, big difference. I mean, he still does decent, but yeah, you could tell that buff is, whatever buff she gives the character is insane. Even the laser, like here we're doing 124k per tick. At the end of the last one, I'm doing like 400k to 1.3 mil per tick. So very, very different. It's kind of a shame. I wish I would have gone back and actually checked out what that buff does. I might cut the video here actually and just go get it real quick. Hey guys, okay, we're back. I just jumped into the game real quick to get some footage of the buff. I wanted to be sure and check it out. And lo and behold, I was incredibly wrong. So this buff right here is actually the guild buff. So when I hovered over it, you can see here it says guild damage buff 40% because our guild's at level 7, so that's the max. I don't see it. I don't see the buff from the boss on the list, and actually it wouldn't show right now because my character doesn't even have the red aura on him. So I'm just gonna fast forward here. Yeah, so you can see that he actually has the aura now, and I think at a certain point I check it out, and yeah, I don't think there's an icon because everything here looks like it belongs to GS naturally through his passives. And then you have your guild damage resistant buff along with the guild damage buff, the two icons here. So yeah, I don't think this boss buff actually shows, but I also kind of realized something when I was running this clip, or when I was recording this footage, is I started off with the buff, and I absolutely melted Parceloper here with the buff on, like the boss buff. But then at a certain point, because I was kind of underperforming in this game just on purpose to make sure, like, just to see things. And yeah, I go and melt Parceloper, I go and melt Karis with the buff still active. But as you can see, it kind of just faded. Like, it just kind of fades away here at the end. And yeah, it actually disappeared. So it does have a timer to it, one that we cannot see. And now you can see that I do not have the boss buff anymore, and I am substantially weaker. So not doing the type of damage I was seeing before with that buff. So I think it's safe to confirm that it is just a bug that occurs. It's just something that happens in the Medea boss fight because of her mechanics when she attempts to make an ally turn to her side. You get that buff. GS seems to just ignore it because of the high damage he does. And that's pretty much it. One thing I don't want people to do, though, is kind of just parade around seeing this footage and thinking this is the standard and the normal for Gunslinger, because it's not. Obviously, it's just a bug. So don't base his entirety off of that, even though he does ridiculous damage in this fight in particular. He does still do crazy damage when maxed out. I am still working on, like I said earlier in the video, a hunter review of him. And I also want to do, they just dropped speed elimination. I've been really wanting to test him out in speed elimination to see what his base rank damage compares when it comes up to hunters like LS and Trish that have been dominating speed elimination. I personally think he's going to do really good because he's got really good base strength, and speed elimination is basically taking all the hunters at their base S rank and pitting them against each other. And I think GS is going to dominate that space, but we'll see. I'll run it and I'll get some content up soon. But yeah, be patient with me, guys. I'm still working on his hunter review. It's been really tough to make decisions because he is very good. LS is also very good, obviously, and there are some things that I like about Gunslinger better, and there are some things that I like about LS better, but that's kind of what's taking so long. I just want to make sure that I do a thorough job. I test out the hunters appropriately and properly so then I can feed you guys the best advice possible. But with that said, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will have some more content up for you guys shortly.